Welcome to It On BirchStreet, the show where we highlight the best of hospitality procurement software, the people behind the solutions, and how they save you valuable money and time. Today's sponsor is Capital Projects. Bring transparency and accountability to all projects, renovations, and expenditures. With real-time and complete visibility, you generate immediate status updates and spend analysis reports of project budgets, RFQs, approval workflows, and other attributes. Process efficiency with increased compliance and tighter controls and detailed spend tracking to save time on audits. For more information, visit birchstreetsystems.com and click on the Solutions tab. On today's show, we focus on highlights from BiTech Independent recently attended by members of the commercial team. Joining me is Senior Account Manager for the Northeast, Paul St. John.
Hey, Gareth. Thanks for having me today.
Zach Daly, Business Development Manager for the Southeast United States and the Caribbean.
Thanks for having me again, Gareth.
Along with his team member, the Account Manager for the same region, Aaron Smith.
Hey, thanks for having me, Gareth.
Paul, let's start with you. What is this specific event, and why did we feel it was valuable to attend?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Gareth. BiTech Independent is the brainchild of Rich Viola and the BiTech team, connecting basically independent hoteliers and management companies with vendors that can support their day-to-day efforts. Attending an event like this is a great way to kind of get a pulse for that part of the industry, and also to meet with folks that you could potentially help along their journey.
Now, I was able to attend this event, and it was in a spectacular location down in Naples, Florida, and we had the privilege of being able to sit on a panel. It was on the final day at breakfast, and that was you, Paul. So could I follow up with the question about the panel discussion and your viewpoint?
The panel was talking a lot about lifestyle brand hotels, and it was talking about the trend that we're seeing in the marketplace. And I shared with the group the fact that many of the lifestyle brand hotels are really becoming more and more popular as they are an intersection between the cities that they're in or the locations that they're in and the local population as well as the travelers. Recently, I was able to go to DC to visit my daughter, and we actually went to three different independent lifestyle hotels throughout the day for different parts of our journey in the day. One being for a breakfast and a great little garden, the second being in a library type setting for some drinks and appetizers in the afternoon, and then the third being a rooftop deck scenario where we were actually able to look at the fireworks over 4th of July in DC. So it was a great experience, and it's amazing how she navigated the city, because a lot of her navigation was through the fact that those are hotels that she found online, not online as we traditionally think about it, but really through social media, and the fact that the things that she and her friends do tend to fall into those areas. So it's a great intersection as to why the lifestyle brand hotels are becoming more and more important to management companies.
Now, Zach, let's pivot to you. You've been to a few of these events. What was the scheduling of this event? And is it just, as they say, speed dating in the industry only, or were there other activities?
Yeah, I can certainly speak to that. I would have to say right off the bat that there's no shortage of communication with the BiTech team. I thought the structure had a nice balance to it. Starting your day with a meal, and every meal you are at a different table, so you get to commingle and make some networking connections, through the just casual gatherings during the meal times, and then they would have a panel while the meals were finishing up, whether it be a breakfast panel or a lunch, and they would have a showcase of certain vendors that were there. Really, I appreciated how it was structured, but it allowed for a little bit of freedom in between blocks of meetings. So the speed dating blocks were 4 or 5 in a row. Then you'd have some refreshment or a break time, and allow yourself to mingle with those who don't have specific meeting times. And it was a nice mix, as I said, that where you're able to focus on your meetings, but at the same time, feel free to talk to everyone else in various social settings, and the fun and games that Paul mentioned, teamwork, team gatherings, and ultimately they also built in a small amount of free time where you could go do whatever you wanted at the resort, which happened to be quite busy.
And Zach, I found attending the event with you fellows really drove home the point that hospitality is back. You were our first interview on It On BirchStreet after the mask mandate was lifted and traveled. You shared a trip that you traveled to in Hawaii at the time, and you're counterbalancing that now down here in Naples, Florida at the BiTech Independent event. What was the level of activity at the resort from your perspective?
Yeah, I would say that it had a very healthy amount of activity throughout the resort. I would say, best guess, they were close to their, occupancy cap. Just all the gathering areas, whether it be the lobby, the cafes, the shops, the restaurants, they all had a lot of activity. And it being August in Florida, I wasn't anticipating it being that busy, but I think there's still a very large segment of travelers that are out there leisure traveling, taking advantage of having time off before the school year, and it's good to see.
Aaron, you're newer to BirchStreet Systems. You attended BiTech Independent on your second day. You drove coast to coast to be there with us. We really appreciated that. For our listeners' benefit, why don't you go ahead and share your professional background, what brought you to BirchStreet Systems, and then follow up with your impressions of BiTech Independent.
Yeah, no, thanks, Gareth. I actually started selling into hospitality probably about 6 years ago now. Kind of had an opportunity to work for Certify, which I know there's a couple people here at BirchStreet that came from there, and really kind of found my niche in hospitality and realized that this is kind of the path I wanted to go. So kind of a stop in between Certify and here, but wound up at BirchStreet and couldn't have joined at a better time because one of my first days on the job, I got to go to the BiTech event. So overall, as that being my first event, definitely was very impressed with it. As both Paul and Zach kind of mentioned, the setup was unique to what I'm normally, known for at the different conferences, with the sit down, the individual 15, 20-minute meetings allow you to really kind of dive in a little bit more as other than just, the normal pass by that you might get at another conference. And then another thing that I thought was kind of unique as well is not only extracurricular activities, but they even tied in a volunteer program where we got to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which gave back to a local organization in the community that they were holding the event. So I thought that was something that, is kind of unique for a conference, but really shows that the hospitality industry is all about not only educating, the people that work within it, but also giving back to the community.
Paul, let's have the final question go to you. Do you feel this event was worth returning to next year? And if so, why?
Yeah, Gareth, absolutely. It was great talking with so many folks at the conference. And what was interesting to me, there was a consistent theme. And we also heard that consistent theme with Rich Viola when we met with him, that there's something new and fresh and exciting about BirchStreet. We've for 20 years have been able to help organizations manage their procurement processes and help save money. And more customers are hearing that message and want to learn how we're able to help. So I think there's an exciting buzz. They also talked a lot about the new energy around BirchStreet, which I think is exciting. They see us as an industry leader, and they're excited to learn more about what we're doing through all the great branding and marketing that we've been doing. So I think we're in great shape. And I also believe that, our efforts over their conferences are definitely showing up, as many customers are asking, what's all that great stuff happening at BirchStreet? So we have to continue on that effort. in regards to kind of these, the conference and the BiTech effort, these I see as critical to our future. I think they give us a great pulse on the industry and who we're working with, and they allow us to actually build some great relationships. And I continue to look forward to attending these events in the future and growing our business that way.
You've been listening to Paul St. John, Zach Daly, and Aaron Smith share their impressions at their attendance of the recent BITAC Independent event. Thanks for joining us, Paul.
Thanks, Gareth. Appreciate your time.
And Zach Daly, thanks for coming back on the show.
Thanks for the time, Gareth.
Aaron Smith, thank you for traveling down and seeing us at BiTech Independent. It's great to have you as a part of the team at BirchStreet Systems, and thanks for taking the time out to talk to us today.
Thanks for having me, Gareth.
Today's sponsor is Capital Projects. Bring transparency and accountability to all projects, renovations, and expenditures. With real-time and complete visibility, you generate immediate status updates and spend analysis reports of project budgets, RFQs, approval workflows, and other attributes. Process efficiency with increased compliance and tighter controls and detailed spend tracking to save time on audits. For more information, visit BirchStreetSystems.com and click on the Solutions tab. Thanks for joining us today, you, our valuable listeners. That's all the time we have. We'll see you next time right here on Buy It on BirchStreet.